Flushfest.
Well, you got four of us again. We're back. This is number 5.
Flushfest.
Episode 5. Here we go.
I know. We're really on a roll, I think. However, we're once again missing our resident short man.
Down here.
Yeah.
Down here.
He's not under the table. I checked. But
CP.
R.I.P. CP.
Thunder.
We miss you. We love you. We wish you were with us. But, sometimes you just...
Once again, we're just selling Perry weather systems. You know, he's not here.
Yeah.
I would
Making
have thought
sales.
Thunder would stop eating
I
In
mean-
and Out by now.
We are burning the midnight oil at Perry Weather again.
Yeah.
And he's
Shout
not
out.
here.
Shout out to them letting us use the old office.
If there's an emergency, can't really help you. But
Just
No.
if you want to come
Call
by
Thunder.
and hang out, yeah, call Thunder. Anyway, so there's 4 of us once again, and we've got some fun stuff to get into today. But since it's still going gangbusters viral,
not me.
it's not Cub, shockingly. It's this poor old guy taking a piss in the bushes.
Oh,
From how many weeks ago?
Oh God, when did we? That was from the farmers.
And you caught it on
That was the farmers. Yeah, we call it the PP video
internally.
internally. Yeah, you could call it whatever you want. The drone footage of at the farmers that was kind of going around catching. I think it was the 18th tee, and
Yeah.
one of the guys was walking back. I still don't know who it was, but he was walking back to the tee and then kind of walked down into the bushes, and then the drone's coming around and he just starts to unzip and, pull out and start to pee in the drone.
But it was a player.
Drone catches it. Yeah, it's a player.
had to go.
That was good. That had to go before he teed off.
We've got to find out who that was. I mean, maybe he didn't want to be found out, but
It's on the video. I probably.
It had to be one of the leaders because it was like the last
Yeah.
one. But by the way, there
And
was 100% time for the producer to cut away. Like they
They
left
kept
it
it-
there for a
Well,
while.
that's the beauty of
I
it.
don't
I
think
saw
they-
it. Jack and I were watching it, and I saw it, and I go, "Oh my goodness!" And he started laughing. So we rewound it, and I recorded it, and then at the very end, you can hear his little high pitched giggle. And a lot of the comments on the video are like, "I think the high pitched giggle at the end is the best
Yes,
part."
100%.
Yeah. But man, yeah, it's just that video. Like, it's wild how social media works. It's
it's funny to think about
views right now.
because we have experience with kind of drones from some of our marketing stuff and putting these content things together. You can hear the drone. I mean, it's buzzing
It's
up there. And I bet that guy got out there and he was taking a quick minute, and I bet he heard that and went, "Oh boy,
Here we go.
Well, do y'all
you can't
remember?
stop. It'll sting."
Do y'all remember all the jokes last year? Like when John Rahm joined Live, they were like, "Well, I guarantee you part of the contract is more bathrooms," because Rahm had complained
Yes.
multiple
Yeah.
times that the PGA Tour only has like apparently 1 or 2 bathroom stations across the course, and those rounds are taking like 5 hours now. So he's going, you might go 2 hours as a player, and like if you got to use the restroom, you're just kind of
Well, do you remember, I think it was a year ago or so, they had the U.S. Open qualifier at Royal Oaks, our club in Dallas, and then also at Lakewood. And it was a bunch of guys who were qualifying for the U.S. Open, amateurs and professionals. And there were some notable guys who came out and played the morning at Royal Oaks and then went to Lakewood in the afternoon. And it was like Charlie Hoffman and
Kuchar. We followed Kuchar for a while.
that was great.
Yeah.
And Pat Perez, who left the course after 9 holes and just stormed off.
Just left.
But one of them was Graham McDowell was there. He was great. But one of them, we were standing on 14 at Royal Oaks, and Charlie Hoffman hits an approach. It's this long par 5, and he hits his approach, and it lands on the green, and I see him running down the fairway on 14, and he runs up, and he marks the ball, and there's a bathroom right behind 14 green. He puts the ball, marks the ball, grabs the ball, and dashes to the bathroom. And they had those lock codes on them, and he's standing at the door and he's going, and he goes,
555.
What's the code? What's the code? And someone goes, 215 or 214, whatever it was, and whoosh, he runs in there. I've never seen somebody run so fast to a bathroom. So he must have been touching cloth coming down.
Was number 1 or number 2?
What's funny about this?
It was definitely a number 2. There's no question.
Yeah, you can.
Number one,
that's
you can.
the one.
It was a number 2.
You're not sprinting.
The funny thing about this is there's literally a porta potty right there
So-
for the players, like behind the ropes.
That's what I was gonna say
Right?
on that video. Isn't that? I was wondering that. Like, isn't
that's
that a porta?
Yeah, that's a porta potty for the players,
But
right?
but in his defense, look at the view that he's about to see while taking this league. Like he's looking off into the mountains.
Yeah, and it's either
What is that? San Gabriel?
Jaeger,
He's like looking at
Dietrich,
his
There's just a little bird up there.
Oh
with
no!
a
Wait,
camera.
that's San Diego, right?
San
Yeah, that was
So
Diego.
he's San Diego. So he's looking out at the ocean.
Jaeger, Dietrich, or Pavone.
You know what? Good on him. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You just,
Listen,
you know,
we need
and
more
you know
of
what's
it.
funny? There's a lot of comments on there because there's hundreds of comments at this point. There's people that are complaining about the fact that I live on a golf course and people pee in my backyard, or you shouldn't be able to do that or whatever. It's like, listen, when you're golfing and you got to go pee, you find a tree. It's just what you do.
yeah, and there are no houses on that course. It's not as if there's some woman having iced tea.
Did that rhyme, Evan?
Did it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it
don't know.
did.
Trademark that. We'll put that on a shirt.
Stamp it.
But that one just keeps going. And the funny thing about it is that Cub and Thunder and I really don't, we're hands off on the Instagram. And it's E-Money and MT who handle most of it. And every time I turn around, your phone is just, zzz.
Bing, bing.
It won't stop.
I was going to say you got to
it won't-
disable
You gotta turn that off.
I don't know how you do it.
At what-
I don't know.
we started a bunch of technology companies. You can't turn off this.
Last night I got off of the Flushfest account because I was like, maybe if I get off the account, I'll stop getting notified about all the likes and watches and all. It's just
By the way, you know what that actually reminds me of?
hang it up.
Evan doesn't know how to do it. Evan's got multiple tech companies. It's like on the social network. Whenever, the CFO, she's like, you're the CFO of Facebook and you don't know how
exactly
to
like that.
change your relationship status. He's like,
Exactly.
It's embarrassing. I don't know how to admit it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good problem to have. So if you haven't seen the PP video, go check that out. You'll be the 6 millionth person to check it out so far, or whatever it is. But
Flushfest on Instagram.
that's been a good one, and it's been fun. And that's catching funny moments on golf courses, particularly in serious tournament environments. I think it's kind of funny because it's like, hey man, if you get caught in a moment and you're on 18, you don't really care if you're at Cypress Point. You got to go.
Yeah.
You better find a place to
Well,
do it.
especially before you tee off. I mean,
You can't tee off with a.
No. You got
that's not good.
You got to get that out. Yeah.
Gotta get that
Very funny.
better out than in.
But hopefully it wasn't Austin Eckroat because we're about to talk about him.
No, it wasn't him. Congrats to our boy.
Yeah,
My boy.
That's your poke.
Yeah, go Pokes, OSU. Yeah, talking about our Friday Cup that we played. Wasn't last year, but the last time we played it was at Karsten Creek, and
The
that
Friday
course
Cup.
itself
We should
challenge.
explain. We had this idea. There's about 15-ish guys that we play with regularly on Friday. We have a big group text, and we put this idea together to have a 3-day Ryder Cup style, team cup that we called the Friday Cup because we always play on Friday. And we were going to have 2 captains who were going to pick a team, and it was going to be similar to what you'd see in the Ryder Cup. And thankfully, everybody is reasonably within the same handicap, so it actually got very competitive. But our big problem was, where do we have it? We could have it at Royal Oaks, but over 3 days, it's okay. We got to get a bunch of tee times, and there's other people. And you had the connection at Karsten, which turned out to be perfect
Awesome.
because there wasn't really anybody there.
No, that course doesn't get a lot of play, not too much play, and they have cabins. So we're all out of Dallas, and it's up in Stillwater, so it makes it easy. It's a pretty close drive, so everybody was comfortable, loading up in a few cars, driving up, and you can stay in the cabins there, which are awesome because they're 2-story cabins.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, you can fit. I mean, how many rooms are in there? There's 2 beds in each room, and there's 6 rooms in a cabin, something like that. I mean, it's a lot.
And you can pack. I bet you pack 30 people.
You can pack it in, and there's 3 or 4 cabins. So it's a great spot. We kind of mentioned it last week. The food there is good. Cub and I are obsessed with the pizza.
Gosh, so
I don't know what they put in that thing, but it's delicious.
It goes down.
But yeah, it's a great spot. You're not really any houses on the course. There's a few houses out there, but there's not really many houses on the course. So you're out in kind of the
well, now
wild.
there's one-
Can I say why there's no houses on the course?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because there's about 100 miles of trees on every hole and nothing overlaps.
There is one house next to the cabin that we saw, and that's old
that's
Boone's
good.
house.
Yeah, he
Boone's
did.
childhood house. That was pretty
did.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
His gravesite is there, and his childhood home, which he had moved from Mesa Vista. And I remember standing there thinking, how big a baller do you have to be to say, yeah, take my childhood home from my 600,000 acre ranch
Pick it up,
home.
just put it on the
and
highway,
just move it over
and move
to
it.
Karsten, right next to where I'm going to be buried someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and did we mention this is the private course for the Oklahoma State golf team?
Which is why they're
Did we
so
say
good.
that? So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Cub's right. It is lined with trees. There is basically no rough. The fair, you got
there's like 5 yards.
You got fairways and maybe 2 to 3 yards on each side of what you would call a second cut, and then it's lateral hazard like forests.
Yeah.
And it's long.
long.
It's like 7,600 yards or something.
And when it's
Yeah, the cowboy tees.
So it's long, narrow, a lot of
No room
penalties.
for error.
And so we were talking about, they were saying, Victor Hovland's such a good driver of the golf ball. I'm like, well, if you play at Karsten, you have no choice but to learn how to hit it long and straight, or you can't play that course.
I got
it's impossible.
I got a 10 on the first hole.
Did you really?
A 10, and I recorded it.
You did not record that.
I did because it was match play. I had to. It was like, okay,
What an honest guy. Wait, at what point did you not concede? Like,
Well, I was playing against Keith. You just don't know what's going to happen.
You never know.
And I thought, well, I'll hold this one up.
wow,
But the,
that is
other-
that
disrespectful.
chop wedge at the end.
only other thing is that the greens are, if it wasn't Carson Creek and it wasn't a notable place, they would be Mickey Mouse greens because they are
They're bad.
insane.
Yeah.
And then the only glimmer of hope is that they're Zoysia fairways, which
Yes.
is unbelievably fun. To
Every
play.
shot you have from the fairway is like teed up,
Yeah.
which is great.
It's
but
like-
you're never getting a flat lie either. It's weird because when you look out from the tee boxes, it kind of looks like, okay, well, just hit it out in the fairway, and you'd be okay if you get it in the fairway at least. But then when you get to your ball, even if you hit it in the middle of the fairway, you don't necessarily have a flat lie. You're
Right.
you're up or down, and that's the tricky part. The ball's teed up, but your feet are either way
Now
above or way below the ball.
You're like, it's like a semi-private thing, right? Or something. Like you're
Yeah.
a member there, but I don't know how.
Yeah, they do. They only have certain amount of like I guess you call them like national memberships or something like that.
Out of state
out of state memberships.
But like,
yeah.
can anyone show up
And
and
then
play?
there's in-state memberships. I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
There's a handful of houses there also.
Yeah.
Like
It's
people's
what's funny.
Not
What's funny
on
is
the
when
course.
like
Not on the course.
when I signed up for the membership I have sitting in there, and I paid for the first year because they hooked me up with a little deal, and they were swiping my credit card or whatever, and the guy goes, "Just so you know, this is meant for the players." And we just like to make sure everybody knows that this is players first, like college,
Oklahoma?
like Oklahoma State
Okay.
college
Yeah.
team players first, and then you guys get it after that. So like if there's ever any tournament or anything like that, like you're kind of you're second fiddle to the players, which makes sense, right?
It makes
It's
sense.
College, it's the college course, yeah.
But it wasn't like the normal price of like a.
No.
okay. It's like
super
a-
affordable.
okay.
Yeah, I think it was only like $7,000 for the year for the first 2 years because I was like halfway through the first.
Well, and
Wow.
if you're out of state, it's not as if you're using it every weekend. It's not like you're going to run into the team a lot.
We've used it for stuff like this. I think I had another group of guys come in. I don't think it was after the Friday Cup, but another time we've used it where you do a couple guys trips, and it worked out really well because, like I said, the cabins are awesome, and they'll have there's a chef that'll come down, cook in your cabin for you, or you can
it's
go,
great.
go into town, go to Joe's, get some chili
But
cheese
speaking
fries,
of the
that sort
team
thing.
being there, I remember the day when we were doing the Friday Cup. We've been there a couple of times, but it was the second trip, and they had sort of they have the main range, and then they have kind of it looks like a short game range or whatever it was that was off of 18. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And was it
Yeah.
Hovland who was standing there? I think it was Victor Hovland who was working with a swing coach or
I
something.
think it was.
Well, Victor. So the weekend we were there, Sahith Thagala and Victor Hovland were there playing with some buddies.
That's right.
They were there while we were there. Victor was there, but you know who else was there that last day on that same area? He was hanging out with his girlfriend, and they were like
And
a
their
big
dog.
Doberman.
That's-
Oh, yeah.
That was
with his
Morgan
dog.
Hoffman.
Morgan Hoffman.
was- yeah.
Morgan-
Oh, yeah.
So Morgan Hoffman is the former.
He was down at that where you're.
He's
talking
the
about.
former number one in the world amateur, and he went to OSU. And I can't remember. He got some disease. I don't know if it was like Lyme disease. I forgot what it was. Some autoimmune thing or something. And he couldn't play anymore. Interesting story. He and I had just read this like a few weeks before we actually ran into him, and our buddy Eric actually stopped him and said, "Hey, I read your deal." He went down to Costa Rica. This is a true story. He was like, "I'm having all these issues because of all the chemicals they put on the fairways and all this stuff." He basically disconnected from everything. He started eating super healthy. He said he did all these, wild drugs.
Oh, there was a
in
video about
yes,
this.
he was living in like a
Yes.
hut down there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch.
And
this.
so the doctors told him this is an incurable thing. And he literally, apparently drink his pee.
Drake. Yes, I was just about to say
He
that.
was
Yes.
drinking his own urine.
This is real.
He was like taking like crazy drugs.
Yeah.
He was but a year later, he was like the first cured case, which is kind of wild. So maybe there's something about the pee. I don't
Gotta
know.
drink. Yeah, talking about pee-pee video.
This is a strange episode.
No, but we were going to say, so he was there and we talked to him for a while. He was super cool and he was trying to make his comeback to the PGA Tour, but he was out there with his dog. And I remember he was still a little bit kind of different. His like girlfriend was laying there, like picking flowers and his dog's running around and everything. And he just
living the dream.
interesting guy. I don't know. There's some characters at
It's
Karsten.
a very chill. It's a very chill place, right? Especially for the players, right? They can be more relaxed.
Well,
out
you
there.
say
It's their
that, but,
course.
but I think it was Victor Hovland was sitting there chipping or doing something, and his bag there, and he was on this sort of short game area and hitting balls, and he had a coach there. And we turn around, and one of the guys from our group just walked over there, just struck up a conversation. We look over, he's going, "Hey, what do you got in here?" He's pulling clubs out of Victor's bag, going, "Oh
Do we need to name this person?
I play a 56 too. How about that?" And Victor's like, "Who the hell is this guy?
Thanks, put my clubs back, guy.
Get out of here!" And
hey, bud.
this is our chief. This is our buddy who's never met a stranger and couldn't be
he's
nicer.
the nicest guy in the world.
But I'm sure Victor was like, "Okay, yeah, go ahead, and check that out if you want to. I guess you want to hit it." He's like, "This is weird."
Yeah, no, he asked him, he goes, "So what kind of shaft or grip?" He's like doing the waggle, And we're like, dude, he's number 4 in the world. Put his club down. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, can I hit this?
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, this feels great." And I'm like, "Yeah, because it's a custom tour players club. Like, it's not off the rack, bro."
He probably thought he was just some drunk guy or whatever. But
It's a tough.
By the
track.
way, shout out to Victor because he was a total, like, he went in stride. He didn't freak out. Like, he just kind of laughing about
total
it. Like,
bro.
Yeah.
So whenever you think Victor's the nicest guy in the world, our experience is,
It's true.
And
And
he
he
got
is.
put in a semi-stressful situation. He just laughed it off.
And when you see those guys eating, like in the the clubhouse,
We saw
at Karsten
Victor
is
in
pretty
the-
wide open.
yeah, eating lunch.
I always, every time I go up there, not every time, but a
you'd
lot
ask
of
for
the
an
times I've
autograph.
been up there, a lot of times I've been up there. He's up there practicing because he still lives in Stillwater, and I'll see him sitting with the team eating lunch as we make the turn and grab a sandwich or whatever, Pete's rep. And it's just they're sitting there laughing, having a great time. I've never seen him not smile and have a great time. I'm like, damn, that's a good.
hey,
life
man,
right there.
if I won a bunch of tournaments and had 30-40 million bucks in the bank, I'd probably eat a pizza wrap with a big old smile too.
That's my favorite Hovland stories when he said, "I live in Stillwater. Money goes a long
Money
way."
goes a lot. I get some extra guacamole on my Chipotle. or-
Yeah, I
That's
will
what I
have the
said.
guacamole.
Well, so he won the tour championship, which was what, $30 million last or 20 million
the
bucks.
FedEx Cup.
Yeah, the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
Like $20 million. And they said, "What are you going to buy?" And he goes, "Well, I'll get some extra guacamole."
yeah.
Chipotle. And they're like,
Yeah.
"I think you could afford more." And he's going, "Well, I
bet
bet
he-
he's
I
Stillwater."
bet he does.
Doesn't he
a
have
long way.
roommates? Victor,
I think he li- I
he
think he
still
has
lives
roommates.
like in a townhouse, like near the college bars with 2 roommates.
Well, I think
right?
Zach. I'm going to butcher
guys
this.
live in
But
the
Zach
dream.
Bauschow. Ugh, can't pronounce that name. He was one of the players. I think he lives with them still.
Yeah.
Now, you know who else was living the dream for a little bit, and this is timely because he just came back. But we're here in Dallas, and I saw Anthony Kim around town a couple of times at the Katy Trail Ice House a number of years ago. He rolled up in a big old white Rolls Royce. This was kind of after he had, I think, retired. I don't know if he retired or if he.
Yeah, he took the insurance.
So
Took the insurance.
But I don't remember
Can
what-
we talk about
if
how
he
much money
officially
that
retired.
I think it was it 25?
I thought it was 10 million.
It wasn't. It had to be more
I think
than
it's more
that,
than
right?
10.
Yeah, for some reason, 10 million sticks in my head, and I was.
I
Like,
thought it was like 20 or 25.
It was
I'll
some
look it up
number
real
like
I heard
that.
it was 100. I don't
I'll do
know.
a little more.
But the rule was he could never play pro golf again. That was
Right.
part of the
Yes.
insurance.
But was the rule that he could never play PGA Tour golf again?
No, I think it was professional golf.
Okay.
Because a lot of the guys that I know and hang out said that he used to do these big money
10
trips.
to 20 million.
Yeah, 10 to 20.
One
Okay.
of them, yeah.
So he used to do a lot of trips down to Cabo. Like guys would pay him, rich guys or whatever, CEOs, and they'd be having a big trip. And they're like, "Hey, Anthony will come if we throw him a quick 100 bones or something for the weekend.
Yeah.
He'll come down and shoot a 66 and
Put 'em
entertain
on
everybody."
PJ, Yeah.
But he always seemed pretty happy when I saw him. A handful of times, he had a big old smile on his face too from that big insurance check he got. But
yeah.
now he's back. So does that mean?
Come back.
Does he have to give
Yes.
the money back?
Yeah.
Surely live.
Well, so
That's why he
that's
should always live,
The
right?
thing is, Liv can
Yeah.
afford. He can do it.
Yeah.
So let's assume he got 15. Let's split the difference.
But yeah.
So what do you think Liv gave him? I have no clue. 50? He's got to pay back the 15.
We'll
and
call
put
it
the rest.
30, like at the very least. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's Live, guys. They have it's the Saudi investment trust. Like, there's no limit to that money.
Well, and it's he's Anthony Kim he's a big name. He was a big name for a long time.
He was
I
a
think
OU golfer, a little rival of the folks there. Yeah.
But I remember what was it? This must have been 07 or 08. He was like, okay, this kid's going to come along and be Tiger Woods. He was really coming up.
Yeah.
And I don't even really know what happened. I don't know what the accident was.
I forgot about the injury.
I don't.
What is it?
You might.
I think
We're all looking to you. You're the one that has all the facts.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. Like, what? I just know
It was a wrist thing, right?
Yeah, he had like some injury that was
Oh, is it not back?
relevant to the insurance claim, and he took the money, and so he never got back into pro golf because, like Barrett said, he's got to pay it back. Well, if you go buy a Rolls Royce, you go party around Dallas 4 nights a week for 10 years, you can't really pay it back, right?
$20 million only gets you a handful of belt buckles. When they've got 40 carats on them. But
It runs dry.
But I sports insurance claims are kind of funny. I remember watching that Beckham thing. I don't know if you watched that Beckham documentary. It's really, really good. But he had that was the chick version. But this was like the Netflix one a couple months ago. It was really good. I didn't know much about David Beckham, but he had insurance on both of his legs at the time he was at the peak at Man United or whatever. But that insurance,
Did they say what it cost?
no, but they said it came with a ton of stipulations. They were like, okay, you cannot go skiing. You cannot go play sand. All these things you are prohibited from doing. And I'm sure Anthony Kim's was the same. But it's, they paid it. They must have paid it. I would imagine a lot of pro athletes have this. I don't know. I'd be curious to know.
I think like in the NFL and stuff like that, don't a lot of those guys have in their contracts, they can't ride, you can't ride a snowmobile.
Motorcycles.
Yeah, like
you can't go skydiving. You can't.
You literally can only get hurt from football and we will cover it.
Well, which would make sense because if your career's on the decline, you're like, I'll go, rock climbing and fall 10 feet. And
file a claim.
Here's $50 million.
Well, I was kind of excited to watch him because 11 years is a long time. And I remember when he was at the peak and I went, okay, this will be kind of fun. And I'm not a historically I don't watch a lot of live golf, partially because I don't want to watch it on my laptop. And also because I hate
and you don't know when it's on.
Leaderboard.
You never know. Like they don't do a good enough job of promoting. We were talking about this on our text thread. How do you know when live? Like, do you know the next live tournament?
I couldn't even name it.
If you ask anybody on the street, they're not going to know. No. They don't do a good enough job of promoting when it is. How are you supposed to know?
No. Well, and that's you think golf is
and they Thursday don't have a history.
Every Thursday through Sunday, there's going to be some golf on, and it's going to be the PGA Tour. And I don't even know what tournament.
The Golf Channel or NBC, right?
Yeah, but I don't even know where the tournament's going to be, but I know it's on.
Yeah.
And so you can click it on and, okay, great, I'll watch. And at Live, I don't have any idea. I also don't understand, and maybe this is my fault, I don't understand the team dynamic because they have that leaderboard with first of all, the logos.
The F1 racing leaderboard.
They have the logos of
Taekwondo leaderboard.
The pole.
And I swear to you, the logos of the teams are the same logos that my 4-year-old daughter has in her soccer league on their jerseys. They're bad logos. The only one that is sort of reasonably acceptable is the Dustin Johnson, the 4A.
Yeah.
That one's okay. And the High Flyers, maybe.
Are you talking about Dick Johnson?
Rom's new logo is pretty cool.
Who do you think designed? By the way, who do you think designed those?
I'll tell you who
they
designed
definitely
it.
didn't go to like Fiverr or whatever and like get a.
No,
I'll tell you right now, they could have gone to Chat GPT.
What's
or
that
Dolly
website that does a lot of the logos? You'll see these corporate logos that pop up, and they're always sort of the same. You don't
Canva.
It's a Canva logo.
Canva.
Yeah,
it's like the ball crushers.
Canvas are pretty good.
That's what I was going to say. They could have done anything than what they've got.
Anyway, I don't understand live golf, but I was excited to watch.
97.
Did you watch any of Anthony Kim's?
So I didn't because it's the time. They were in Saudi Arabia. They were in Jeddah, over the weekends, which is time difference. So I'm not going to wake up at 2 a.m.
Well, did you watch any
live
highlights?
golf's not
I
getting
watched
you
some
up?
of the highlights. I was actually pretty excited when Live started, not because I thought Live was cool. I was always thought the PGA Tour itself, not the majors, because I feel like most people don't realize that the majors are not the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour runs the tournaments between the majors.
Right.
The majors are separate. I always thought it was boring because every week you'd have like 5 of the top 50 show up. They never played the same events. And so the idea of having like the top 50 players in the world all playing each other on these events to where the leaderboard would be like nothing but big names every week. I was like, oh, that's really cool. But I agree though. Then they launched Live. You see the leaderboard, you see the logos and everything. I'm like, you could have done so much better with the production value on this stuff.
The broadcast
tacky.
isn't
It's tacky.
great.
Well, the reality is they just didn't have
it's-
enough money to.
That's
do
right.
it.
They were on a budget.
It's still
They were-
on like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
still
They were
on
on
the
a budget.
CW, right?
You know what is cool about it? And
Yes.
I haven't watched all
bookended
the,
by Dawson's Creek.
And the Flash and yeah.
I haven't watched many live events, but the ones I have watched do kind of remind me of the European Tour.
Yeah.
And
sure.
the best thing about watching European Tour golf is you get to see some unbelievable golf courses that you'll never see on the PGA
yeah.
Tour.
Yeah,
You see
yeah.
them over in
Yeah.
Europe. And they're really, really cool golf courses. And it's like, wow, I would love to
Some of
see
the
how
ones
these
in
guys play.
Africa look awesome.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
God.
And so Liv does you do get to see some of that. Like, I don't know what, course they played last week, but I saw the highlights and it looked really cool.
Well, so that's the course. I think that's the Royal Course in Saudi Arabia that was like commissioned by, what's the leader?
Sheik.
Mohammed
Don't
bin Salman
even
or something.
Yeah.
Sheik.
Don't even try.
MBS. We'll just, I know his initials. So, but if you look, people were talking about, and even the players, which is so funny because it's in the middle of the desert. I don't know how much water they pumped in because those fairways and greens and stuff, they look so pure. It looked like a rainforest on those fairways.
It's like Shadow Creek.
Yes, very similar.
Yeah.
By the way, the thing about Shadow Creek now, when they showed the last, was it the Capital One match thing? They've done a few of these now.
By the way, that had really bad ratings.
Well,
Red.
Probably. But the one thing I saw from the highlights is if you play Shadow Creek now, which I never have, still would love to, but you know what you have to stare at from whatever fairway?
The sphere.
The sphere.
Yeah.
And it's got this giant blinking eyeball or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They put this huge.
Well, there's a video.
And
it's
it's
a
the most
giant-
and it's the most expensive round in the world, right? It's $1,000 a round.
That's
now.
a lot.
Is it
So
really?
yeah, and by the way, for anybody that doesn't know, Shadow Creek, what we're talking about is the course owned by MGM in Las Vegas. It's like
that
yeah,
Sorry.
that course.
Yes.
But it's
It's not
the
that-
course.
you're
in
not
I
Las
mean,
Vegas.
it is
Yeah.
apparently it's unbelievable, but I think it's $1,000 a round now. So it's the most expensive round in the world.
And now you have to come down whatever fairway it is, looking at this giant blinking eyeball
Sphere.
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 It's like I cannot believe they let that happen. But it is like Shadow. These courses are in the middle of the desert and they're greener than.
I can't imagine the water.
Yeah.
Like the water bill in Saudi Arabia to do just a perfectly lush.
This is why my idea from last week or the week before, do an entirely synthetic turf golf course. You got no water bill. There you go.
I know, but
That would be the place
how
to
much,
do it.
How much? Your backyard is not that big, but it costs a lot to turf it, right?
But I don't have to water it anymore. And you know what? In 150 years, I'll break even on that
He's
bill.
not a Saudi
now we're
prince
going to
either.
turf 200 acres.
Also, can we imagine the really bad golfer that totally takes a divot out of turf?
Yeah, you
Yeah, how
have
do
to
you
have
fix
kind-
that?
you have
You
to
got
have
to nail
some
it.
kind of
Got to
a.
nail it in.
Well, you just have a really big green fee.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Anthony Kim for just a second? Because, we do have a golf apparel brand, Hammerback Golf, hammerback.com. It looked like he maybe needed a little golf apparel this weekend
He looked
because
like he needed a collar.
when I saw the video of him teeing off, it was on the first tee, and he was like, "Can I get a mulligan?" I was like, "Kind of looks like Adam Sandler does when he
Dude.
goes and plays like pickup ball."
You gotta
it was
listen.
like
well, and
the-
we'll throw
the
a
basketball
video
shoes.
up on
I
this
know
so
you-
people
I-
can
yeah.
see it.
You all have strong
the big-
opinions
the
about
big
this,
shorts.
and you know me well enough.
I know your opinion.
Loved it. I thought, gosh, finally,
Yeah,
a
you're
guy who
the-
just wants to go play golf and doesn't
Yeah.
care what he looks like, and
you don't care about that.
shirt untucked, take your shoes off. That's how golf is meant to be played, not this.
I'm gonna look. We're
tucked
gonna
in,
listen. I'm all about the beach vibes. We went down to
I love the
Abaco.
beach
Hey,
vibes.
got the shirt off. We're having fun. This is
We're having
this
fun.
is a
This is your
20
comeback. This is your comeback, and you're wearing basketball shorts and a t-shirt.
What is
No,
it?
I thought it
is
was
is it a
fantastic.
$40 million purse tournament?
Yeah.
You got John
Something
Rahm,
crazy.
DeChambeau, DJ,
Yeah.
Cam Smith, like the best players in the world are there.
But there's no
Koepka.
rules.
I know, but he shows up. He's got gym shorts, like a hole in his shirt, undershirt.
What team was he
It
on?
just- dude, it
don't
looks
teams
bad.
have uniforms?
All right, so hold on.
So I guess
I'm gonna
Barrett and I were
DJ on
talking
this
about
one.
this earlier,
Again,
and I was explaining.
pay
And I said,
attention enough.
because Barrett goes, "Why do you care?" And I said, "Well, imagine Patrick Mahomes walks out into the Super Bowl and he's got holes all through his football pants. He's wearing like a cutoff. He just looks like crap. Like, dude, you can't do that. You gotta,
No, here's why you're
you
wrong.
gotta have in
What
the
team
actual.
is-
That's why you're wrong.
What team was he on?
Here's why I
Does
think
anybody
you're
know?
wrong.
I think,
Okay,
I don't know that he was on the team.
golf is
Don't
about
you have to be on a team?
That's actually a good point. I have no idea.
Because if I was the team, I'd be like, hey, here's some polos and a hat.
I don't think he was on a team.
How?
I thought Live
If he
Golf you had to be
was-
on a team.
Well, he's maybe, except for look, if Anthony Kim's coming, like Barrett's never watched one, but see, you pay the guy, so you watch it. He's interesting.
Well, if he was on your team, I feel bad for you because he played like dog dirt.
Well,
but
did he get last?
yeah,
He
DFL.
got
He's
last
playing
place.
as an
DFL.
individual.
I think he was getting.
I guess they do that now.
I think he's getting back into it, and maybe they'll put him on a team. Maybe someone will draft him.
I'm so confused.
You
How
know
does
the-
the individual thing work?
But, and there was a lot of hoopla about coming into this. How's he going to do? How's he going to do? And somebody on some channel was like, "I'll tell you, he's going to finish DFL. He hasn't played golf in 11 years.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?" But it was still kind of entertaining. I wonder if you could have beat him.
Well,
Hey, what did he shoot?
I got to be honest.
I have no idea.
I
Look it
watched
up.
some of the highlights.
God,
I mean, he shanked a couple shots. I was like,
we
dude,
need to do
I
some
might have to
research
get.
before we start this.
Shoot, I might have to give Anthony Kim pops. I don't know.
you might.
I mean, it looked rough.
You know the thing that he still does, and I remember he did this when he was in his prime. He chokes way up on the club. Have you noticed this? I don't know why. Like, why wouldn't you just buy?
like how much?
I mean, like that, like a lot,
Like there's like 3 inches?
like a couple inches.
Oh, wow.
And it's like I don't know why you don't just buy Colin Perry clubs and play shorter clubs.
Miss you, CP.
Well, Colin doesn't play shorter clubs.
No, he
Colin's
doesn't.
driver is actually
Longer than
it was
yours.
a half inch longer than mine.
So here's
Like, what are we doing here?
the Live Golf app. It's all the teams, but there's no like. Is there like an individual?
No, he's
like,
just
how
a
do you
lone
find
wolf.
them?
He
How do you
just-
find them?
So he couldn't win any team money, but he could win individual money. So
Oh,
I know that y'all
players.
don't understand the team stuff, but I can explain. Like, did anybody play high school golf or like ever? Did y'all ever do
oh,
that?
no, he
so
was-
it's
he
the
was,
same kind of thing. There's an individual tournament in high school,
Oh.
and then in
Well,
high
that's like-
school, like you play teams. It's the same format for live.
Okay.
So you win individual.
I
money
played tennis,
and you play
singles,
team.
and
Yeah,
doubles.
exactly.
All right.
Oh, my boy DQ'd or withdrew. That's okay. We withdrew is way better than DQ.
Withdrew.
My boy Wolf withdrew, not a DQ. Thank you. Anthony Kim, he was 53rd. He was
DFL.
Yes.
almost last. Ormsby was last.
No, he
Well,
wasn't.
he beat someone.
Well, what? Wait a minute. Actually, no,
Ormsby
he's out.
didn't finish.
He didn't finish. Yeah. So Anthony
Okay,
Kim
he
was dead
What
last,
did he shoot?
plus 16.
Okay, so he was 16 over 3 rounds in what was apparently a very easy course in professional
6
golf
over,
terms.
6 over,
I could have done better
4
than that.
over.
Not great.
It's not great,
No.
but he's back, and we'll see what happens. I
I guess.
thought it was kind of exciting.
Tiger's back too.
You know, the other thing about this live thing, I know that it's been people have talked about this to death, but half of these live PJ things on the live one, I don't know many of the players. And now, if you turn on your average run of the mill
know.
PJ tournament, I don't know any of them either.
I know.
I mean, the big ones, and obviously the majors.
Well, because they all flip flopped.
But it's like-
They're not on the same thing
And-
anymore.
and-
It's super annoying.
And I don't think did anyone see like Paul Azinger? He got let go for the broadcast stuff this last year, and they brought in what's his name,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
did an interview, and he had all these comments. It was all over social media last week, and he said the PGA Tour is now a feeder for live golf. And I'm like, well, kind of true, not really, but I get what he's saying because I think it's like 16 of the last 30 major champion winners now play on. I mean, you got like Koepka,
There's a lot of
DeChambeau,
them on
DJ, Cam Smith, Rahm, and they go, when you think about that, like Liv didn't go after necessarily the best players at the top of their game. Like they didn't make hard charges at Scotty
way.
and some of those other guys, or Cantlay, right? They went after the biggest
They
person.
probably did.
Well, no, my point is they went after
Your
the biggest
boy.
personalities.
By the
And
way,
so that
John
takes a
Rahm.
lot of the star power.
John Rahm finished 5th. He didn't. He like moved over there, and he's not even on the top.
okay, we've moved off this.
Okay, so
But-
But that's
just looking at talk about names and scores. All right,
But
sorry.
that's where Liv, to your point, like you pulled up the leaderboard from the Cognizant Champ or whatever. Like I knew Rory, but didn't know any of the other names. But if you actually do look at a Liv leaderboard, like everyone in the top 15. 'cause
Who's
that's
the
what
guy-
they went for. They went for big names.
I did think that was funny. Rory was playing in that.
Who's the
Well,
guy
he's
who?
the champ of the PGA Tour. He's got to play in a bunch of that stuff, right?
Who's the guy
Yeah,
who
but no-
won
none
a
of
couple
the
of
other
weeks
big
ago
names.
at the? It wasn't the
like
Cognizant. It was the one before it. It
the
wasn't
Mexico
the Mexico
Nap.
Nap.
Yeah.
Kid's got a swing.
Dude, he hits it.
He's got some flow too.
Oh boy, he does.
He hits it.
Good old
so
California
He had
boy.
Man, it was. I was like, this kid.
The only reason I watched it was for him, actually.
He was great.
Oh, he's great.
I've never seen
What did he finish?
190.
He won.
He won.
No,
No, not that one. The next one.
He did,
Oh.
he
Sorry,
did pretty
after
good.
that.
I think he did good last
The
weekend.
Cognizant. What?
I didn't watch the Cognizant, but I think he did
that's
pretty
why I
good.
was watching it. It was for
I'll be
him.
our
I was like,
stats
man,
But I would be curious to know if those kinds of tournaments, the Mexico, maybe not the Cognizant, because there were some names in that, but if there's sort of the ones that are sort of the Puerto Rico, the week-to-week ones, do you think a lot of those guys are
1,000%.
so glad Scotty Scheffler didn't enter the tournament?
Yes.
And so glad that, oh God, thank God Rory's not here because I
Saw him
actually
working
shot.
on that putter.
No, he was. Scotty Saturday morning. I saw him. He was up
grinding,
there.
yeah.
He
He's
had
grinding on
had
that
his
putter.
stuff out on the putting green, 8 a.m.
But you know what I mean?
There, grinding
All
on the
these
putter.
guys whose
No, the
names you don't
small
know.
names, they go, oh,
If Scotty shows up, they're kind of like, well, playing for second, okay, I guess I'm not going to win this one.
Well,
50.
as long as he can make some 6 and 8 footers,
Which
I mean,
but
he will.
But he has a distinct advantage over
I saw
everybody
him,
in the
You know
field.
what's funny?
his-
I saw him bomb one. The last putt he hit when I was there. I don't know what day it was, Saturday or Sunday or something like that. And he was just way down on like the front corner and hitting back towards like Randy's shed hole, and it was just a bomb, and it just went right in. I was like, well, all right, there he goes. He's good.
well, his
We're back.
You know,
We're
they were
back.
showing like your strokes gain, like off the tee and tee to green and all that. He's legitimately like peak Tiger,
Oh,
in
yeah.
everything.
like driver irons,
Everything but-
except putting.
Yeah.
Which quite honestly might be like the most important thing.
Well,
but
but
he's
also-
like one of the
but-
dead
but
last in putting.
to be fair, peak Tiger in putting was almost unreachable.
I didn't say he was peak. I said he was peak Tiger in driving an iron.
But man, I'll tell you what, every time I go down to the range, and it's not as often as you, and it's not as often as you, but every time I go down there, he's grinding on it and working through it. I bet he gets
Yeah.
right back. And the other day, I kind of felt like a jerk because I was walking out of the door from the locker room
Shouldn't hold the
to
door
go out
open
to the
for him?
thing, and it was one of those things I reached for the handle and it turned, and it was like someone was coming in at the exact same time, and I was on my phone texting somebody, and Scotty walked in and he was on his phone, and I almost ran into him, and I didn't say anything. I just kind of went, oh, and we kind of walked around.
Sorry.
And then I realized after I walked past, it was him, and I thought about turning around and being like, sorry, and then I didn't say anything, and I thought, I wonder if Scotty just thinks I'm a huge jerk. Like I almost just ran him
No,
over.
he thinks you're a huge
He's like,
dope.
He's like, hey man, don't run into me. I'm prepping for the Masters here.
I don't even think he knows my name, but
Who's that
I
weirdo?
was like, should I go back and say sorry? Maybe not. That'd be weird. I don't know. I'll just let it go. So I'm sure he saw me. Scotty, if you're watching, sorry, I almost ran you over.
Oh, he's for sure watching.
Scotty's
He's grinding.
Scotty's got a couple of hammerback belts.
He's grinding.
Yeah.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't wear like the hats and shirts or anything, obviously, but yeah, he got a few.
Respect.
Well, I think it's always kind of funny to see the leaderboards in tournaments where you don't know anybody. Also, that's kind of exciting. That Nap kid
Well,
came out of
this is
nowhere, and
your-
I went, I like this guy.
I have
I like
never
it.
in my life seen 190 mile an hour ball speed look so easy.
Easy.
Well,
Like,
except for me.
It
but
look
You
Cub,
wanted the Cognizant
nobody-
leaderboard, right?
Cub, it looks like you're trying to chop down a redwood. You're
not
trying so
anymore.
hard, all right.
Not anymore.
No, I'm not saying it was
Really? It
bad
changed in the
swing.
last
I'm
week.
saying you're trying hard. He just went, he goes like just I don't understand even how he does it.
Yeah.
He's got the flow. He's got the, I mean, it's
No, the
great.
last week I know, but yeah.
Well, last week, no, I think there was a big upset, right? The Happy Meal boys went down.
Oh, good.
Well,
Speaking of leaderboards, by the way, about stacked leaderboards and how hard it is to kind of find a tournament outside of a major that has a good leaderboard, MT sent us the list, which somehow got publicized, of the Seminole.
They always put that out.
the Seminole member
it always
guest.
comes out.
And I think it's a better field probably than most majors.
It's a better field than every tournament this year, but the majors.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It has Tiger,
I want to know.
Morikawa.
I want to know what the other guys.
JT, Speed, all the usual suspects. Plus, it was like Brady. It was,
Hold on.
all
I wanna
the amateurs.
I want
Here,
to
I
know
got
the
it, I got
guys'
it. Hold on.
names that I don't. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
no,
the
no,
ones
no.
you don't
Oh,
recognize.
they're billionaires.
Oh,
Who
I
are those
Googled.
guys?
I
Yeah.
Googled. So this
What are they
is
doing?
this is the Seminole, which is a very, very nice golf course in Florida. This is their pro member.
where
This
all
was
those guys
actually on
practice.
Monday. So this was Monday, March 4th. This was yesterday. So that you have Sung J M, Ernie Els, Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, Cameron Young, Rory McIlroy,
Shout out.
Tiger Woods, Colin Morikawa, I mean, this is insane. It's every major pro.
Read the Tom Brady group.
Who's
the
wait,
Tom
back
Brady?
up? Who's Cam
Because
playing
it's a
with?
member. It's a pro
Cam?
member.
So cousin Cam is playing with Tom Wright. I don't know him. He's probably a multi-billionaire.
I bet you he's worth some coin.
I mean, this is
What's
crazy.
the Tom Brady group? It's Tom Brady and
Is Tom Brady here?
Yeah, he's at the top
yeah,
of
he's
the
on
list.
the top with is he with
Oh,
Tiger or
is he here?
something?
Second column top.
Tom Brady's playing with Finau,
Finau.
and they're playing with in Tiger's group. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So imagine that.
Classic.
Imagine that foursome:
That's
Tiger
gotta be
Woods,
so much
Tony
fun.
Finau, and then the other guy. So Tiger's partner in the tournament is a guy named Seth Waugh, who is the head of the PGA of America. So
Is there
Convenient.
a guy that you want to root for more than Tony Finau?
nicest guy in the world.
There is
He's
nothing to
great.
not like about Tony.
And you know what's funny? I've watched a couple YouTube golf videos lately, and the one with I can't remember which one it was, but they're talking about the nicest players on tour, and Tony Finau.
totally
and
believe
every single one is number one.
Yeah.
He's always listed as
And
number
Cantlay
one.
is number 2.
We know you are not a Patrick
No,
Cantlay.
You know
on,
what's
man.
funny? You know what's funny? They were talking about it. They said he's a really funny guy. He's a really fun guy.
I would love to see that.
Have you ever seen the picture of Cantlay in the pool when he's got his shirt undone? He's surrounded by all the
No.
girls or something. I don't know. Maybe Cantlay is a funny guy off the course.
We got to get you guys to meet.
Yeah,
gotta put you together.
that'll
We're
happen.
gonna
We're
have
gonna
him
set it
on the pod.
up.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. I'd like to be in the Seminole member guest. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh,
I
my
think.
gosh.
Yeah, the member pro. So all the members, which by the way, the membership, when you look at that, is hilarious. I mean, to be a member, you have to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company or on the Federal Reserve
Or
Board.
Tom Brady.
It's ridiculous. Or
Or
yeah, I
Tom
guess
Brady.
that's true. Tom Brady.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's a hot take though. You're Tom Brady. You're paired up with Tiger Woods.
Mhm.
Like, are you nervous about hitting
no.
a terrible shot?
Oh,
No, he's hit plenty of terrible shots in front of him in that match.
guys, I don't
That's
care.
Remember, it was him and
Tom
Brady.
Brady.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady
yeah.
topped the ball at Pebble
Oh,
Beach.
when he topped
Pro-Am.
it. That I
Yeah.
wanted to see his reaction after it. Nobody filmed it.
No, Tom Brady is 100% nervous hitting in front of Tiger.
Yeah, he has to be.
Have you ever seen the deal? There was Justin Timberlake, like back when
He's a
they
good
were
golfer.
but
Yeah.
back when they were like at their prime. There's an old video that used to circulate social media, and he played in some pro-am. There's a bunch of people watching. He hits a ball. He hits a good shot. Somebody's interviewing him. They're like, "Are you nervous?" He goes, "I am more nervous right now than I was in front of 200,000 people last week." And he's like, "How do y'all do this professionally?" Like he goes,
Yeah.
I can't handle the stress. And I guarantee you, Tom Brady is
Has
stressed.
to be.
You can't not be stressed hitting in front of Tiger. I don't care if you got 7 Super Bowls.
You want to hit the best shot in your life.
Exactly.
Every shot.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
like
and it's
the,
not your sport. You know, would
No.
Tiger be nervous throwing a football
Hell yeah.
at
yeah.
50-yard
Are you
line
kidding
in
me?
front of 80? Yeah, of course.
I
he
kind of don't think he would be actually.
Imagine
You know, he
He's
would
Tiger
just say, "I'm
Woods."
Tiger Woods."
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? Have you seen, speaking about like nerves getting to you, they have these compilation videos on YouTube of people throwing out the first pitch
Oh yeah.
at MLB, even like stupid,
Just
spring training games that don't mean anything. And they interview him afterwards and they go, "How do you feel?" And they go, "They told me not to throw it in the dirt. And I got on that mound and all I thought was, don't throw it in the dirt." And they just airmail it over
Yeah.
the pitcher. They say it's the most nerve wracking thing you can do because
I've always wondered, do they practice that before? Like, do they get to go out? They're like,
Yeah.
hey, 20,
You would think.
20 minutes before we're going, like, hey, let's go throw a couple practice shots.
Yeah, they got to throw some practice.
yeah,
You would think.
Best first pitch ever,
Bush.
George Bush.
Yep. He put it
Right
down a
after,
pipe.
right after 9/11,
9/11,
he
yeah.
went out there. Wasn't that a Yankees game? Right after, if
Full
he
house.
goes out there and he threw a dot. I mean,
Yeah.
just right over the plate, smoked it.
Place went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Yankee game, full house.
Yeah.
I remember watching
Yeah.
that. That would be nerve wracking.
the-
I don't know that I could do it. I don't.
The worst first pitch of all
Hard
time,
pass.
probably
Well,
that
MTV.
50 Cent one.
Oh, did he throw it?
Fitty threw it, and I'm talking, it might have gone more sideways than straight. It was the worst, most unathletic thing I've ever seen.
More than your beach football.
That's what I was saying. MT would throw his.
You know what? We were throwing lasers on Saturday with the kids, all right?
Yeah.
That was
Erroneous.
You know what else is nerve wracking? Even when we how many times have we played Royal Oaks? 1,000 times. But when
2,000.
we Cub is
yeah, Cubs different.
But when you get in the club championship and you get up on the first tee and there's nobody there. It's Dean Larson, the head pro, and I mean it's not like there's a gallery. It's 5 or 6 guys, Cliff, the people from the pro shop, and maybe Randy is sitting there. But then they say, "Now driving Barrett Jones," and you get over the ball, and I go, oh my
Please
God,
hit a
please
good
don't
shot.
slap
Please
this.
hit a
Please
good
don't. I'm like,
shot.
why do I care about that? I've done this 7,000 times.
The
Why do I care about
announcement
this?
just
Well,
changes it, man.
Because
Changes
you also know you don't have a breakfast ball.
Nope.
There's no double max.
There's
But I
no
also-
going
You
back.
got to put it out.
It's also like,
double.
There's
it's
no
also-
going back.
I'm
You're
telling
in
you.
it.
but it's also
You're-
like these guys never see me
in.
hit, ever. And if I do hit, they're going to go, God, he sucks. They're going to tell everybody. And I'm like, I want to hit a good one.
So, it's
They're,
funny.
they're looking at
It's
the
not
fact
even-
that you're wearing Flofers in the club
That's right,
championship,
yeah.
not the fact that what
Yeah.
your swing looks
Yeah.
like.
But
They
if
don't
I hit
care where your ball.
but if I hit a good one
actually.
in Flofers, do you think they go, all right,
Maybe we should try that.
maybe we should try that?
But I don't even think it's club championships because I remember so we went out for that wedding at Pebble Beach last year and we sat at the whatever the Gallery Cafe is, which you look right at the first tee. And I'm telling you, 50, like the swings weren't bad. You could tell these guys are probably like single digits or, 10, 12. Like you could tell they play golf. And I'm telling you, 50% of these people topped it, shanked it. Even just because they're like,
yeah.
because there were probably, at all times on that first tee, there's 20, 30 people like just walking around watching, and people are so nervous. It's not even a tournament or anything.
Well,
It's
that's
at
what
a
happened
famous course.
when my cousin and I played. My cousin, who Cub has met, his name is Mark Jones. He dresses like I love him, but he dresses like a gigolo. He wears super tight clothes. He's got long blonde hair. He had just come back. He had just come back from teaching English as a second language in France for 3 years. So he was all Euro'd out. And we go to Pebble Beach. He's got on he's a good golfer, but he insists on wearing pants. He's got the tight pants, and the tight shirt, the long flow, and the Titleist hat, and he's got the big bag with his name on it. And so it's like, guy looks like a pro. He's got
like a pro.
He's got a beautiful swing. And we're on the first tee at Pebble, and he's taking some practice, just some, air swings, practice swings. And right before he gets over the ball, this bus of Asian tourists pull up, and like 50 Chinese people come off the bus with cameras around their neck. And they see him, and they see the bag, and they see the pants, and they think,
Yeah.
pro golfer.
Yeah, player.
Oh, yeah.
And they all go like this, and they put their cameras up, and they're about to go click, thinking they're catching some guy. And Mark gets over the ball, and he slices one 100 yards right onto the roof of that house out of bounds. And all these there wasn't a single click. All the cameras just went down, and they looked at each other, and then they just walked away. They were like, "This guy sucks."
Disappointment, straight disappointment.
But the nerves got to him.
It happens, man. It happens. Man, you just can't get rid of it.
It happened to me on the first tee at Karsten Creek. Dear Lord.
Well, okay. but
Speaking
hole-
of tops, one of the funniest parts, I watched our Abaco video, and one of the funniest, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but old Nikki topped one on that par 3.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well, wait till you see the video. It's one of the funniest parts of the whole video.
So-
He's like set up and he's talking trash, and then he swings and it just dribbles forward.
When,
we
got
does
it.
when does the Abaco video come out?
Well, it'll be
Kind of a guesstimation.
Thursday this week, but when people see this, it'll be
Last week.
last week.
Yeah. And we've got Nikki coming on, I think,
Next
for March
week?
Madness. Nikki, by the way, one of our
Nikki
dear
Fairways.
friends. You just can't pick a better guy. He's an absolute caricature of a person because he's so entertaining. But one of his weird quirks, I won't know, he loves women's NCAA hoops.
Yeah.
And Caitlin Clark is his girl.
Hashtag her.
He
Yeah.
loves her.
I'm her.
He
Love
bought a shirt.
He's got
He
the-
sent us a picture.
He bought a shirt.
He's gonna
for
wear it.
women.
and we
He bought the her
asked-
shirt.
He bought the her shirt from Barstool.
He's gonna wear
Here
it.
it is.
It's a
We'll
women's
put it up
sizing.
on the screen. But I was like, Nick, do they make that in men's sizes? What is that?
It's a muscle shirt.
We're gonna put it up on the. We'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, I'm going Nick. With the her, and it's so small. I'm like,
Oh
Nick,
my
you can't wear that in
gosh,
public.
it's
You're gonna get
terrible.
It's a
put
little
on
tight.
a list.
Little
He's going
tight.
to wear it on the pod. So we'll have Nikki on here. We've got We've got a whole cast of Sesame Street
Talk a little
characters that
March
we'll have on.
Madness.
I don't know anything
Coming
about
up.
college basketball except
Oh,
that
Well, that's
except
why
for
he's coming on.
Baylor
That's why he's
is
coming on.
Awesome.
Name a
Big
player.
win against Kansas, by the way.
well, good for you. I don't even know if
Say-
TCU is going to make the tournament.
I think we
Oh,
will.
TCU's actually no.
we're out. I'm on to college football.
OSU.
already.
You
I'm already
just-
on to college football.
Yeah, you're done.
yeah.
What spring practice about to start?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get Nikki on here, and that'll be fun. We may have to do some editing and post to.
There will be a few lines cut.
Yeah.
That'll be for sure. Look, we're trying to keep it PG.
But we're fortunate and blessed, as many of you probably are listening and watching, to have a cast of characters that we play golf with. Everybody's different. I don't know how anybody gets along because the personalities are totally different. But you get everybody on a golf course, and it's a lot of fun. And so we'll have to rotate through, and maybe there might be a couple guys who, could be oil and water that we have to get on together at some point, and it could be interesting to watch that.
Nick might need to face the Happy Meal boys in person.
Next week we'll explain what that is. It's the most irritating, obnoxious thing in the world.
Yeah. You don't even want to know.
Yeah.
No, we might need to leave that out. Matt will cut.
Well, that's 5 in the books. We'll have Thunder back next week. Hopefully, we've said that for 2 weeks in a row.
I
But
don't know. He's still eating in and out.
yeah, I don't know.
He's never coming back. We don't know if he's ever coming back. We're just going to keep showing up to his office.
But you know what? If he doesn't come, then that leaves room for us to put guests there.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're going to actually have to figure out logistics if we start.
Well, I thought he
Yeah.
would sit on your lap or something.
I have a
we should
sixth mic, and we have a sixth plug.
By the way, Carly mentioned me the other night. She
yeah.
said we should do a wives podcast, and I said, "What would you all sit on our lap?" And she said, "No, the 5 of us, the 5 wives would just be there, and you wouldn't do anything." And I went,
Pass.
I'm not sure that's what our audience wants to hear.
Hard pass.
We're going to bring him on. It's funny, when we were at dinner, we were talking about that, and we were like, what would you all talk about? And they go, I don't know.
Just whatever.
I'd be too nervous. I'm like, wait,
Carly, she said,
They're talking about
I'd be
grocery
funny.
prices.
I'd be too nervous in front of an audience. I said, "There's no audience. It's just you're just talking,
Yeah,
and
you're
there's
just talking.
camera." And she said,
Say
"No, there's
whatever you
people
say."
watching." And I said, "But you don't know that. You don't know who they are."
No.
Anyway, our wives are afraid of you, and we're all afraid of them a little bit.
Yeah.
So that works out.
It all works out.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next week.
Episode 5. Thanks for checking us out. Don't forget, hammerback.com, www.hammerback.com.
Yep.
Hats, shirts, belts.
Anthony Kim, come on, babe.
Anthony Kim,
Yeah.
if you need some gear,
hit him.
looks like you did.
You can untuck it. You can. I don't care what you wear on the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can untuck it as long if it's a collared shirt. That's fine at a tournament.
No, we'll just cut the collars off.
That's great.
It'd be great.
No, we can cut them.
Hey, man, you don't mess with a guy.
You can
who's
call me
comfy.
the old man yelling at the clouds. That's fine. We're gonna gotta have a little respect to the sanctity of the tournament, guys.
Little respect.
Just
Well,
a touch.
we'll reach out. Give us a call, Anthony. All right.
All
Cheers,
right.
boys.
Cheers,
Episode 5 in the books.
boys.
Night, guys.
Flush